Hi, and welcome to Jen's Book Corner. Today, I'm going to be reading The Raven, written by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember brought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare, radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of the purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors no one ever felt before, so that now, to the still beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madame, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and though gently you came rapping, and faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, and I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened the wide door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word that there spoke was a whispered word. Lenore? This I whispered, and echo murmured back the word. Lenore. Merely this and nothing more. Back to the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard the tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what there it is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and let this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many flirt and flutter, in stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched above my chamber door. Perched upon the bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. Perched and sat, and nothing more. Then the ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art shorn, O craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is, and from the night of the Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being yet ever was blessed upon seeing a bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul was that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply I so aptly spoken. "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom merciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore." But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird, and bust and door. Then, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself into linking fancy onto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my chest's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining at the lamplight gloated o'er. But whose velvet lining, with the lamplight gloating over, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch!" I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by these angels hath he sent thee. Respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore," quoth the raven. "Nevermore? Prophet!" said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet still undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore," quoth the raven. "Nevermore? Prophet!" said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, but by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell the soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Iden it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore," quoth the raven. "Nevermore? Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend?" I shrieked, upstarting. "Get back into the tempest of the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of the lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out of my heart, and thy form from off my door," quoth the raven. "Nevermore?" And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, and on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have the all-seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul, that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to watch next week's video. Bye! And subscribe, maybe. You could do that. There's like a red button down there. You could totally click that. Totally. Bye! What am I doing with my life? Again? I don't really know. What am I doing with my life? Probably making weird voices into a microphone.